Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting, riveting, and amazing Propagandacast with me, your host and Pearl Dane, the one and only Master Propaganda. Off here to a glorious 1v1 on the road to Tunis. At the west stands Doge, fighting for the Wehrmacht Germany, Deutschland. Here with the Hammergöring Fallschirm Panzer Grenadier Division in Tunisia. Recently shipped over there to help hold things together as the Allies keep pushing onwards. In the east, we stand here with Havoc, fighting for the British Empire, the Commonwealth here, the 6th Armoured Division with a double sapper start here. Ready to move up for the British Empire, no battle group chosen yet for either side. As always, a big hearty thanks to my Patreon supporters for the continued and generous support of the Propagandacast. Big thanks to Andrew for donating and supporting the Propagandacast with his hard-earned money. Helps, of course, both things help me out there a lot. And also big thanks to all those who like, share, subscribe, and, press the bell button, all that sort of stuff. Helps with the YouTube algorithms, make sure the video gets out to as many people as possible. So everyone doing their part there to help keep the Propagandacast running. And of course, me who keeps making them. Dingo there is an interesting start here from Havoc. I think he's one of the few players who really goes for it, but I do also think Havoc is definitely a player who can sort of, highlight why the Dingo can be a really powerful tool in the right hand. So moving forward here with the Dingo, crossing through the sands. Sappers both racing northwards here, going for more focused starts. I think most players are just trying to spread out more aggressively, but Havoc clearly has something on his mind. First shots fired here, as of course with the Dingo unable to grab territory, it really can only do one thing, which is start hunting down Germans. And oh boy, does Havoc start hunting down Germans. In fact, also worth noting an interesting capping order here. He actually sends the pioneers ahead here instead of grabbing the fuel point out of his base. Maybe it's intentional, maybe not. It's hard to say there, but from Doge, that is definitely an interesting development. We got the Ken crowd out here as well here, and we got Grenadiers out there. So, aggressive start here for the Hammergöring Fallschirm Panzer Grenadier Division. Tunisia would be, shall we say, its first real action as a unit. It would eventually have to surrender and would be reconstituted as a full Panzer division and fight in Italy. Later on the eastern front, become a full-on Panzer Corps with an additional Panzer Grenadier Division and a series of other Hammergöring Fallschirm flavoured units. So, sappers moving forwards here, pioneers taking in, machine gun having caught up with the Dingo, and again with double sappers, you can also rapidly repair the Dingo, as while he doesn't have a lot of health, he does need to in the early game, and in the right hands, it can be quite the pain. He also has really low experience requirements, so can actually hit the higher levels of efficiency pretty fast. So, a Dingo in the right hands is actually like a really seriously annoying, unit to deal with. Sappers are digging in. South side, though, we can see the German army is advancing here under Doge's command, here with the 5th Fallschirm Panzer Grenadier Company. More sections on the way there now for Havoc, having gone for his Dingoes. He's adding in a bit more proper infantry. Dingo's raising ahead, looking for these German targets. Grenadiers will quickly up on the building, firing down the Dingo, getting a few shots there through the armor. Dingo was based off the Daimler armored car, was basically just the armored car but without the turret. In fact, there the British would actually just make a lot of vehicles by just cutting the turret off something else and use them for a variety of purposes. For example, you had versions of the Stuart Light Tank, where basically a kangaroo version they used as an armored personnel carrier, but just removing the turret. So as the Grenadiers are flamethrowers up, MD42 moving in here. Grenadiers definitely suffering from a bit more than just your average sunburn, that's for sure. So, pushing forwards here, still no battle group here for Havoc. Sappers occupying good ground here. Trying, to keep here Havoc's forces tied down, but also perhaps deal with them. There goes Sappers getting flanked. Already there, got Lewis dropping dead, and now we got the Luftwaffe drop here. Some Fallschirm Pioneer likely being popped in to assist the Hammergöring Fallschirm Panzer Grenadier Division here, with assistance from the Fallschirm Brigade Ramke. Grenadiers occupying the building, engaging the section, denying the house to them as well there. Close save here by Doge against Havoc. Getting to work on that Dingo, which can also heal troops around it. Giving it a bit more utility in the right hands. Fallschirm Pioneer at ready. So, front line here is definitely active across several points here. And there you go, Dingo is getting shredded here. Box of Krupp munitions there, just utterly randomly exploding, as if they was actually set up by the Russians. Grenadiers pushing forward to the lines to find the sappers. In the south here, Fallschirm Pioneer holding up against a section advance here from Havoc. No signs of upgrades for the troops as of yet. MD42 ripping into the Dingo. Vickers on the way for Havoc as well here, going for a fairly mixed set of units in the early game, which I don't think you'd see most British players goes for, so thumbs up there to Havoc. We do also have a platoon command post already up here for Havoc as well, so he's actually not far off from a Humber. That said, of course, versus Luftwaffe, he may be a bit more careful about that, of course, because the possibility of just being countered by an LG-40. Then again, Tunis is definitely one of those more open maps. It's going to be more difficult to stop a light vehicle that with just an anti-tank gun. So we'll have to see. The Granny's flanking the section, machine guns there that are extended. Havoc striking back there, full of tea, biscuits, and British vigour, forcing back those dastardly, dirty Germans. Up north here, Pioneers there, watching in horror as the Ketton crowds get spotted by. We actually got the communication cables upgrade there. Not one you see too often in the 1v1 metagame anymore, not because it's bad, but because of 35 munitions. You typically, a lot of the time, want to spend your munitions on other stuff if you do go for the Ketton crowd, but it's still like a pretty decent upgrade if you like, you know, grab any points with the communication cables on. Field infirmary up there for look. Got the dingo. That is impressively lucky there for Doge's Pioneer. Popping out to Doge here. Looks like he's pushing straight for Fallschirmjägers here. Which is interesting considering it's the British who typically want to expect the Humber. Like, it's a pretty good reason, in fact, to go for Luftwaffe as the British. Is because they already fortified with a nice, cheap way of just stomping down on, like, any Humber-based shenanigans. But clearly, it would appear the Doge is not too concerned about the British armoured cars. That's the English. This is armoured cars. I wouldn't even trust them to build some a toaster. Beats that's the Americans. Anyways, I'm not too concerned. Getting cut pushing forward, Grenadiers heading south as well, back up machine guns and the Falcon Pioneer. Panzer Grenadier company up here for Doge and Deutschland. And we got here Indian Artillery here, classic, with Gurkhas on the way there for Havoc. Ken crouch body by the sections. Shots there going through the side armor. Almost got it. MG42 moving in. Falcon Pioneer backing up. And we got the MG15 upgrade here. MG15 is definitely one of those more interesting light machine guns of the war. Basically a machine gun initially intended for use in aircraft, like, you know, gunners' positions. But as they moved on to bigger machine guns, they didn't really need the MG15 there, so they suddenly had a large stock of surplus light machine guns, or machine guns, they didn't convert into light machine guns. They would typically hand out to, I think, the second to third rate units. I don't think any, like, you know, more elite units been equipped with the MG15, really. But then again, what? It's never impossible. Either way, it's an interesting sort of conversion there. Interesting conversion. For light machine gun, it was pretty big compared to, like, you know, MG42s and 34s, but it had a rate of fire somewhere in between an MG34 and 42, so it could, like, you know, lay down a pretty serious amount of firepower. Up north here, Fallschirmjägers there, caught though by the Vickers. So again, aggressive Fallschirmjäger drop here from Doge against Havoc. Just didn't expect the Vickers to be pointing at him. Who can blame him? I mean, most British players, well, some British players go for the Vickers, but there's also plenty of British players who never bother with the Vickers, so it's a so-so situation. Ken Kraut that could get knocked out by the Gurkhas. As they move forward here, these elite Nepalese infantrymen. And they certainly big for the Fallschirmjägers. In particular at Monte Cassino, they proved to be a formidable threat to those German elite infantrymen there. Fallschirmjägers are reinforcing section from the part of MB42 fire, pinned down to the ground. And I don't think we're looking at a Humber here from Havoc, which is quite interesting. But again, I suspect it partly could be down to the fact his opponent's gone for Luftwaffe. And if he's expecting the LD4, oh, he does go for the Humber now. Emil Stuck here could of course be good. He could also go for Pack 40s, may just go straight for the Panzer Company. There's certainly their mix of Wehrmacht players at the moment, where some will rush for Panda 4s, others, more rugged, handsome players, will of course go straight for the Stugs. Obviously, I don't know if they're more rugged than handsome, but I'd like to imagine so. In the south here, machine getting flanked by the section there. Fallschirmjäger prank fire support there with MD15 as well there. Good because they're getting ripped apart here. MD30 Vickers joining in as well. Smoke grenade being chucked. Very good there. South side grenadiers forced off the field as well here. And the Germans would use a variety of light machine guns besides the more iconic MD34s and 42s like the MD15. That's a fun side fact, by the way. Typically a lot of them would end up again with, like, you know, less elite units. That's one of those, again, fun facts of World War II. Humber ripping to the Grenadiers here. Fallschirmjägers then needs to withdraw as well here. Does he have the healing up? He does. He definitely needs to get these chaps healed up to the Fallschirmjägers. Quite durable for elite infantry, but, you know, no point wasting them. That got exploded there. Looks like no one is inside. Or at least, if they were inside, I can't tell. Humber there, striking closely to the German base. We do get a Pack 40 here. Interesting enough, no LG-40 here, though, from Doge in response to the Humber there. You'd figure that'd be like his main pick. I mean, that is typically, in fact, while a lot of players go for this battle group, it's not even for the Fallschirmjägers, the Fallschirmpionier, it is for the LG40 and infantry reserves, which really does highlight these kind of abilities that are perhaps a bit too good, but that's another story. Sab's caught here around the car point, denying Doge access to southern resources. Back to Havoc, and there we go. Got, looks to be a calling in here. Recce section, there we go. Forward observer artillery barrage. North here, Pioneers on top of the Humber, and far, far up north here. And at the very edge of the map, we got a cannon crowd hiding out there. So a lot of action here. Fallschirmpionier and Fallschirmjäger sending out here. Pioneers routed by the Humber armored car. Pack 40 sending up here. Good shot on the Humber. Almost got the British armor cast. The 75mm armor piercing shell just slams right into it. We got a bit of shots there going through the rear of the Humber as well. Not exactly heavily armored towards there. It's outmaneuvering the pack. Like gets caught a bit in the terrain here. Smoke deployed, but it might be too late here for Havoc to save the Humber, and down it goes. Nice attempt here by Havoc, but in the end, not nice enough. Further south here, German troops are quickly gobbling up the south side here from the British Empire and the 6th Armoured Division. No sign of further attack up here though from Havoc as of yet, though he is definitely within range of doing so in the near future. Sappers caught here by the FD-42 wielding Fallschirmjägers. No, though Fallschirmjägers have not been wielding like that many FD-42s. They're basically meant to be like light machine guns in the squad there, so they typically have like 2 of them per squad. As the Woman Dawn, they would just, use MD-34s and 42s, as a lot of them would, just serve as elite infantry divisions and not really do any airdrops. Little fun fact there. Anyway, Sappers pushing forward to the sections, and Gurkhas backing up here. And these they're forced to withdraw in the face of such a fierce British assault here. Worth noting, he did lose a section, but he now has 2 Gurkhas. That's probably what the Sato took out there, actually. Fallschirmjägers of the Gurkhas. Bren guns and Lienflies there go. Grenade assault. Powerful grenade ability there. Up there, I would say, with the Starsturm's grenade assault, which is also a very powerful assault ability. The center there, Sappers caught here. Havoc's thrusts across the center north are thwarted. Ruined in the south, though. British forces under not quite Field Marshal Havocs are making progress. German forces, though, are definitely getting pummeled. And we got here volunteer infantry, and I imagine, again, similarly, we're probably looking at the Luftwaffe equivalent to that ability. Being picked here by Doge in the near future. We got another airdrop. Guessing another Fallschirmjäger squad here, though, for Doge. Maybe not. Yep, another Fallschirmjäger squad here. There's going to be 2 Fallschirmjäger squads, which of course will be a fairly sizable amount of elite infantry. Grab the points here. More support from the Fallschirmbrigade Ramke to the aid here of the Hermann Göring Fallschirmpanzer Grenadier Division. It's good because they're charging the Grenadiers here. Stielhandgranate could get chucked. Fallschirmjägers need to pull in there. I think flank here. Havoc's forces. Oh, looks like he's not paying attention there. Go do get a Stielhandgranate. Gurkhas taking heavy losses as they are torn limb from limb in a shower of explosives. East side here, though. German forces are alternating here. Havoc are pushing into the north here. So now German forces are holding most of the map, and crucially they're holding 3 out of 4 fuel points on the map. This is definitely what you're going to call a headache for the British forces. That said, Havoc, of course, has been pushed straight here for the company command post and will soon be able to go for Crusader. As for his opponent, we're not seeing any Panzer Company, and he's definitely not got the support elements, so he's definitely going to be in a tight spot there if Havoc decides to chuck a Crusader at him right now, which I imagine that is going to be Havoc's main plan here, is going to be chucking a Crusader right at Doge. Sappers running 40 of Fallschirmpionier with MD-15. Ready to advance, or we found any advancing Sappers there with their number 2 flamethrower, also known as the life buoy due to the, shall I say, somewhat unique look to it. Fallschirmpionier routed, didn't suffer any casualties. Gurkhas routed, victory points not all from to hand to the German army, but there you go. Havoc there, turning to the Crusader Mark II medium tank, or cruiser tank technically. The British Army didn't really operate with the concept of medium tanks. They sort of had light tanks enough, but also they had cruiser tanks and infantry tanks, as they sort of operated more on a World War I principle when it came to armoured tactics and doctrine. Fun fact. Sappers caught by the Fallschirmjägers and the Grenadiers being met with a shower of lead, and there goes Stielhandgranate off. Forced to withdraw here. No mercy there. Far up north and enemy 4-2 defends the northern director point against any British cheekiness. Also note he's got several points there managing secured with the cannon crowns because he's getting more fuel, more munitions. So that's definitely something that can, like, you know, steadily scale up here in a longer match for Doge, and definitely risks adding some significant pressure here to Havoc. There you go. We do get the infantry reserves. We also got the LG-40. Those supposed not going to go for it. It might have been more worth it to go for the Luftwaffe Command Group in theory, but nope. Panzer Company here can soon go for the Panther 4, and a Saxon squad here being absolutely pummeled by the FT-42s of the Fallschirmjäger somehow survives. His arse cheeks, though, are probably going to need a lot of stitches. Good cuts and something against the Fallschirmjäger, so need to withdraw them now. They're definitely, despite the Veteran 1 status, in a bad spot. And there go Crusader tank moving in. Crusader Mark III with a 6-pounder gun. Wire on the center point here. And now there's obviously a bit of a problem for Doge until his Panther 4 hits. He's only got one Pack 40 to stop a rampaging British cruiser tank. Mines going off there. Sappers being blown apart here. Pack 40 setting up. Great shot through the sidearm of the Crusader Mark III. Second shot could also make quite an impact. There you go. Quite a smash. There's the engine block. It certainly turns out it can't block Pack 40s. Foot guards following up as well here for Havoc. More elite infantry to support the 6th Armoured Division. Thumbs up to Havoc. Foot guards are also quite good. Meanwhile, Panther 4's arriving here though for Doge and Deutschland. Still calls an overall, I think it's a nice combination. We've got 2 Fallschirmjäger squads, we've got some grenadiers, we've got the Fallschirm Pioneers, and overall, you know, good, you know, amount of infantry, but also, you know, a nice mix there of more elite infantry, backed up by some cheaper infantry running around there, maybe merged with the more elite units and stuff. Panther 4's now arrived here as well for Doge and Deutschland. Foot guards right around the corner, grenadiers forced away. No, by the way, while the Crusader is sort of the more iconic tank of North Africa for the British alongside maybe the Sherman, they actually operate a variety of other older cruiser tanks as well there in North Africa. Similar to how the Germans, while, you know, the Panther 3 might be the most iconic tank, half of the tanks, for example, under Rommel's command, for example, like Panzer 1s and Panzer 2s and all, it's just Italian tanks. As well as a fun little fact there. But there you go, Panther 4 here for Doge. Rolling forwards here, and we got a large column of assault infantry backing up here with the Fallschirmjägers and the machine gun covering the north flank here. The south flank of the Panther 4 there is a bit unscreened. Also worth noting is Kettenkrat is still alive, and he's actually at veterancy too. That is actually kind of impressive. Bazookas there failed to penetrate the Panther 4's frontal armor. Fallschirmjägers was the sappers definitely having a back there. Oh, Gurkhas as well there, which probably will kind of drew away the fire of the Fallschirmjägers more aggressively. Foot guards getting shell shots. He needs to pull back the Panther 4 now. We have the armored side skirts. He might be able to ignore the bazookas a bit more. Maybe. Almost got the Crusader there. Foot guards now being raked with heavy fire from the Fallschirmjägers and the Panther 4. Geralt there drops dead. So far, though, Doge and Deutschland remains. Primacy there. Oh! Almost got the Crusader, but I might actually lose the Panther 4. This could be proved to be a mistake. Yes! He ended up losing the Panther 4 without getting Crusader. A big blow here to Doge. A bad call. That is now definitely means that Havoc, I think, has a chance to, like, more seriously gain control of the map again, because he can float more tanks more easily compared to, like, Doge, who, well, actually, can easily replace his Panther 4, I guess. Oh. That was a bit anticlimactic, wasn't it? Hard to make... I was going to make it more dramatic, and I just kind of ruined it. Anyways... It's still a bit of an issue there, because it could now like a 2 Panther 4s versus, like, you know, 2 Crusaders or whatever, so... Still not ideal here for Doge, but not quite the abyss either. Of course, he still needs to be mindful his opponent's got 2 Gurkhas and a foot guard squad. That is still a lot of elite infantry. And a lot of headaches that potentially come in the way here of Doge. Smoke grenade popped here, thumbs up, very good ability. South side here, Grenadiers punching against the sappers here, gonna burn through them rapidly, scorching them and sending their Gurkhas at the ready. Machine guns watching here. Flanking in, another Panther 4 ready here for Doge and Deutschland. Fallschirmjägers at veterancy 2, that is very good. If he gets them to veterancy 3, that's definitely going to be a marked headache for Havoc's men. Still a son of armor here. We got the Crusader rolling southwards there. Firing in the center here. Saffel charge into the smoke. Oh, imagine you hadn't realized that. That could have been a full wipe there for 45 munitions. That would have been quite spicy. Grenadiers being met with the Crusader. Losses piling up. Men dying as Havoc there just, well, lives up to the name and causes Havoc here, rushing through the good, not the Gurkhas, but the foot guards. And the Crusader here, southern German lines here for the Hammer Gilling, Fudge and Panzer sword, and Gammon Bomb almost takes out the entire Grenadier squad. Pioneers forced to the draw here. Havoc is definitely let loose here. In the center, Fudge and Puny holding against an advancing sapper section here. But the MD-15 is definitely some heavy lifting here. More losses piling up. Further up north, they're Panther fighting southwards. Causing healing. Fudge and Puny around here with the Crusader. Simply, well, too big of a tank for them to handle. Fudge makers with MD-42 hanging back here, awaiting orders for the next successful push for Deutschland. But there you go, Pack gets a great shot on the Crusader. And we got what looks to be another Crusader here for Havoc. Very good. Good, because they quickly occupying the house, the high ground. Only found themselves face to face with the Panther 4. And the South Foot Guards now in a very unenviable position as they're up against two Fudge Maker squads and the MD-42. A deadly storm of lead here who could quickly threaten to snuff out their lives like candles in a storm. A German storm. Up here, oh, got the grenade, but we got grenade chuck, oh, machine gun, got grenade chuck back here, but does he get the machine gun here, or will Havoc be able to hold it off? No, he doesn't. Far south here, looks like he didn't get a wipe here. Oh, he did get the foot guards. He did get them. A second blow. He gets the grenade again with another good grenade assault return on the Germans. Grenadier squads turn into fine red mist as the Mills bombs just pulverize them and perforate them. Just violent exchanges there. In the south, Fudge Makers pushing forward. Forgot the Crusader counterattacking here. Immediately obliterating Reinhardt out in the open there. Panther moving forwards. 6-pounder gun there covering up things. Second Crusader at the ready here for the British Empire. Panther 4 there blasting away. Ken Kraut sitting out. And we got a Luftwaffe company? Now of all times here from Doge. That is an interesting pick. I don't know what he's intent. No, he cancels it. Goes instead for the support elements. Perhaps Nebelwerfers, perhaps Stukes. I'm not entirely sure what the idea is from Doge at this point, though. I mean, Stukes are great. No mistake, but I feel like you should just go for more Panther 4s here. So, interesting choice there, but Doge was it the Nebelwerfers he's planning? It's hard to say here. It's an interesting, but certainly also fairly unusual decision here. Why Doge? I can't quite wrap my head around. Good still moving forwards. North side there, bit open, could try and sneak in some forces. Of course, with all the equipment wrecked here, he might be less keen to do so. Pushing south as the Fudge Makers and a Panzer Abwehrkanone. Panther 4 being fixed up. Crusaders rolling in there, backed up with the Gurkhas. Pack 4 at the ready, and great shot on the Crusader in the south here. Fudge Makers could Panther Faust here. If they Panther Faust, there you go. Now's the time to Panther Faust. Otto, it's a Panzer Faust. The Panzer Faust, Otto. Ah, shite, you dropped it. Panther 4 they're being sent southwards, fixed up. Feel like he missed out an opportunity to deliver some damage here to Havoc. There we go, though. Panther 4 rips through one of those unfortunate Gurkhas. In the center here, Grenadiers being met with the MD-42 there, secured with heroic sacrifice here by Havoc's Gurkhas. Gurkhas pushing forward here, Vetchny 2, hardened killers here, one and all. Fudge Makers still unhealthy here, Panther 4 firing in, Pack 40 at the ready. We got the Crusader threatening the flank here, and there you go, another grenade assault. He needs to retreat those Fudge Makers on just 2 men here. Grenade return. Oh no! Oh, this is looking pretty rough. Gurkhas rushing forwards here in the center. Ken Kraut hanging back. I'm surprised he didn't send the Ken Kraut in to like do some light harassment going points up north. We do get a Nebelwerfer, so he clearly wants to leave some of these support weapons under Havoc's command. That does make sense. Meanwhile, we got a Matilda now on the way here for Havoc. Trying to also bring in something a bit more heavy here versus the German armor. In the center, Crusader striking out around the car point. Gurkhas almost taken out. Pack 40 there moving forwards. Certainly just hectic front-line action across everything here between Havoc and Doge. British forces are slowly inching towards a possible breakthrough here in the German lines. And we are back to Doge and Deutschland. Got the Stuka Leute there. 199 versus 123. I haven't been paying attention to the victory points at all. Kind of lost out of it because the action was just so intense here. Mines from Havoc. Punts up a Kanona around the center. Yeah, Panther 4 here I think would be a great addition on top of the Panther 4. They could also just go for 2 Stuks to back up the Panther 4, aim a bit more for raw numbers here. Versus opponent. Meanwhile, the Matilda 2 infantry tank has arrived. And another Pack 40 here though from Doge. Considering he has gone, like, you know, set up for the Stuka Leute, I can certainly understand why he doesn't go for the LT-40 here, because he would certainly rather have, you know, save the munition for that. And so I feel like he's still going for Stuk, which would be more mobile. Or again, on Panther 4 here. But he clearly wants the Pack 40s here. Versus Havoc and the 6th Armoured Division's Armoured Fist. Center there, though, is lighting up like a disco on fire. Fighting Pioneer, though, being absolutely mortared by intense fire from multiple sources of fire here. Crusaders and MD-42s here. Need to withdraw those Fighting Makers before they get utterly annihilated. Pack getting up shot there, Crusader. Close to 82 on that in the south here. Matilda is inching her close to the Fighting Makers. Need to be careful doesn't get blasted by them. And we're going to strike hold the machine gun position and Pack position under Doge's command. Fighting Makers, Fighting Pioneer being absolutely ripped apart here by MD-42 and Flamethrower fire. I don't think he's realizing it. And that's going to be wiped here unless Doge gets lucky, which he does not. In the south here, Fighting Makers forced away here. Southern lines are collapsing. Luftwaffe striking the center there. Sappers machine gun being caught here by the Luftwaffe. Good, because they're cleared out one of the packs under Doge's command there. And there goes 6-pounder gun up and the Panther 4. And the Kettenkrad is actually at the ace level. This is actually the first ace Kettenkrad I've seen so far. Thumbs up. That's impressive. Really don't see those a lot. It also captures points really fast. Good God. That is like an insane capping rate. That is like breakthrough before they fixed it, because it turns out it like applied all of the individual squad members' bonus at the same time. So anyways, Matilda moving forward here, Packs lining up here to deal with. There we go, 1 Pack crew already snuffed out. Matilda and its 2-pounder gun. Put the crew in the Pack 40s again. Got the northern victory points. Packs punching through here at the Matilda's frontal armor. Crew desperately trying to hold that thing to safety before the Germans crack it open like an egg. Meanwhile, the Fallschirm Jägers are definitely being cracked open like eggs. Sauerkraut flavored eggs. Good, because MD-42 lining up for another assault against Doge. Now the Crusader way for Havoc. No Matildas additionally, or a Grant tank here. Section right by the Panzerkampfwagen. No, we do get another Panther finally. We also got the Nebelwerfer at the ready here for Doge, but I think doing all the fighting, he's kind of forgot he had it. It looks like he remembered it. Opening up here on the MD there. Packs are tearing through the Crusader's armor, but it's managed to somehow survive the altercation. But Havoc is still advancing, committing his Gurkhas there to a frontal assault against the German line, sensing victory. He charges forward here, willing to risk life and limb of his Gurkhas, like any good British commander. Don't worry, chaps, some of you may die, but that is a sacrifice that I and the British Empire are more than willing to make. Dane's being ripped apart by tanks out in the open. Trying to panther fast, but I think instead the only thing that's going to get fasted is them, as they get absolutely beaten into a pulp here. In fact, he's down to just 2 Fighting Mega squads. His Grenadiers are gone, his Fighting Pioneer gone. North here, Crusader routing the MD-42 here, and wipes it. Another stinging blow here to Doge. The situation is definitely getting out of hand for him. He needs to fix up his Panther 4 here. Fighting Megas being met with the MD-42 there under Havoc's most British of commands. routing the Fallschirmjägers. And overall, he's got 4 tanks versus Doge's 2 Panzer IVs. Again, you see he had lost that other Panzer IV, a bit 3 Panzer IVs now, and I think he might certainly be in a better position now versus Havoc. Crusader rushing from the south here, Fallschirmjäger blasted. Need to withdraw here. Oh, I think that might be too late for the Fallschirmjägers, unfortunately. Back to Havoc.
The enemy is down to 200 points.
111 versus 107. Really close in terms of victory points here. And so I do feel like Doge is being a bit too reactive. He needs to like try and seize initiative from Havoc. He needs to like launch a good attack that deals a lot of damage. But it all feels like just Doge at some point kind of got a bit too defensive as a Havoc. And Havoc has been, I think, more than keen to just exploit that lack of aggression and drive then from Doge.
They only have 100 points.
100 points, in fact, less than that now here for Doge. And before they can hit with the 6-pounder gun. Need to draw the Panzer IV here. Got the training center up for Havoc. Some upgrades on those units. Thumbs up to that. Good, has been caught here. Fallschirmjägers advancing. Luftwaffe hanging back here. Up north here, Panzer IV swarm, but Crusader tanks need to get the other Panzer up there to assist. Might be too late for the Panzer IVs. The Crusaders fall upon it here. Heavily damaged. Ooh, that looked like almost like the Panzer IV went down in flames, but no, it was not. Luftwaffe flying here by units. Panzer IV swinging in as well here. The other one that is. Machine gun there being caught. Almost got the Gurkhas as well, but now one man lives to tell the tale. But now we got Matilda flanking the Panzer IV here. The situation is getting more and more explosive here for Doge and Havoc. Got 58 versus 111 here. Panzer IV heavily damaged. Close 32 there. Fallschirmjägers being met with withering fire here as Havoc sets up his tank park here, and we got a Stuk on the way now for Doge. Finally, but certainly feels a bit little late here. Charging after this Fallschirmjägers, something to get a wipe here, but no, fall short. We're going to strike out the sappers charging in there. He's willing to risk everything to wipe that Fallschirmjägers squad. I can't blame him for that, obviously. Instead, though, he's able to still turn this advantage as he focuses everything to defend the Fallschirmjägers. Havoc just comes charging in there. And with that, we see Doge's panzers just utterly exploding here. Infantry's being evaporated. This has very much been a killing blow, and there go GG. Game over. A stinging blow here to Doge. Quite a hit there for a while there, but partly I think losing that machine Panzer IV here certainly did a number on him, but also I feel in some regards he may not quite exploit his advantage as well as he otherwise could have. Like, I feel like the Luftwaffe here wasn't necessarily the most optimal choice. In part because it's not like I feel like Havoc had a lot of support weapons and relied heavily on them compared to the tanks. I think I'm better off just pushing for more Panzer IVs, or even just pushing for Stugs like that way, just trying to build up his armored numbers. But also he needs to be more offensive. Like, you think play too defensive, and the problem is with the Vamp, once you hit the late game stage, you want to transition to a more aggressive stance overall, I feel. And Doge instead went defensive, and I think that cost him quite a bit. Yes, Havoc, of course, was more than eager to exploit, I think, any slips because of that. Havoc, of course, also played a great game, and he's like easily one of the highest ranked players at the moment on the leaderboard, so certainly also a great player. He certainly attacked well, made great use of the, Crusaders, the Sappers, the Gurkhas. Oh, just really well played there by Havoc as well. They're certainly not to be forgotten there. He could have laid down some mines. Also, I think, though, Doge could have used his cannon crowd most of the game went on at times, like harass, distract a bit there. So, there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. Hope it gave you some decent matches. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment. You can also support the podcast by donating on Patreon. Links in the description. This is Imperial. Cheers, and see you all tomorrow for another episode. Bye, everyone.